Alright, so here's factoring 1, you guys. Now, remember, the a value in all of these is 1. So, for this one, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 8, and c is equal to 7. On the top, you guys, it's going to be a times c. So a times c is just going to be 7, and on the bottom is just your b value, 8. What two things multiply to 7, but when you add them, it gives you 8. That's 7 and 1. And since a is equal to 1, our factor is just going to be b plus 7 times b plus 1. These two numbers right here, you guys, come from what we got from over here. Okay. Over here, a is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 11, and c is equal to 10. On the top, it's a times c, so 1 times 10, 10. On the bottom, just b, negative 11. What two things multiply to 10, but when you add them, it gives you negative 11. Negative 10 and negative 1. And since our a value is equal to 1, all we do is n minus 10. That's one factor of the quadratic, and n minus 1. Okay. Alright, over here, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 1, and c is equal to negative 90. On the top, you guys are going to get a times c, so that's 1 times negative 90 for negative 90. On the bottom, you guys just get 1. So, what two things multiply to get negative 90, but when you add them, gives you 1? Well, 10 and negative 9. So then, since a is equal to 1, m plus 10, m minus 9. Over here, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 4, and c is equal to negative 12. A times c, you guys, which gives you the top, that is negative 12. And on the bottom, it's just your b value of 4. Two things that multiply to negative 12, but when you add it, gives you 4. That is 6 and negative 2. A is equal to 1, so your factors are n plus 6 and n minus 2. A is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 10, and c is equal to 9. On the top, you're going to get a times c, so that's going to be 9, and on the bottom, it's just b, which is negative 10. Two things that multiply to 9, but when added gives you negative 10, negative 9, and negative... Wait a second. Oh yeah, negative 9 and negative 1. And since a is equal to 1, our factors are just n minus 9 times n minus 1. Here, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 16, and c is equal to 64. On the top, it's just a times c, so a times c, you guys, is 64. On the bottom, it's just 16. So two things that multiply to 64, but when adding gives you guys 16, that is 8 and 8. A is equal to 1, so basically b plus 8 and b plus 8 is your guys' factor. 7, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, and c is equal to negative 24. On the top, it's a times c, so 1 times negative 24, negative 24. On the bottom, 2. So, if you guys did make a factor of this, all the factors of 24, you would start to realize there is no combination that is going to give you guys... Oh, wait. 6 and 4. 6. Negative 4. 6 times negative 4, negative 24. Oh, okay, never mind. That one works. Oopsies. So, 6 times negative 4 is negative 24, but when you add 6 and 4, negative 4 together, it is 2. So, that is factorable. I got ahead of myself. Okay, here we go. A is equal to 1, b is equal to negative 4, and c is equal to 24. On top, it's a times c, so that's 24. And on the bottom, it's negative 4, because that's your b value. Now, for this one, if you look at all the factors of 24, you're going to realize there is nothing that you can do where two things multiply to 24 but added gives you -4. There is no such thing, so this is not factorable. This one, a is equal to 1, b is equal to -13, and c is equal to 40. On the top, it's a times c, which is 40. On the bottom, it's just your b value, -13. So two things that multiply to 40, but when added gives you -13. That is, not that. That is -8 times -5. A is equal to 1, so k minus 8, k minus 5. So if you guys don't know your factors of the number, it's always nice to just write down all the factors you do know, so that you guys can use this to your advantage when thinking about what two things add up to and multiply to the numbers. 10, a is equal to 1, b is equal to 11, c is equal to 18. On the top, it's a times c, so 18 times 1 is 18. On the bottom, it's just b, so 11. Two things that multiply to 18, but when added gives you 11, 9, and 2. Since a is equal to 1, stop there. A plus 9 times a plus 2. Here, a is equal to 1, b is equal to -1, and c is equal to -56. On the top, a times c, you guys, is -56. On the bottom, it's -1. Two things that multiply to -56, but when added gives you -1. So this is a good scenario. If you guys don't know if you guys do not know what it is, just write down all the factors of this. And then from here, you should be able to tell which ones would add or subtract to get -1. Well, 7 and 8 seem to be a good choice. Now, which one has to be negative? Well, 7 plus -8 will give me -1, and then 7 times -8, -56. So that's a combo, since a is equal to 1, and plus 7, and minus 8. Number 12, a is equal to 1, b is equal to -5, and c is equal to 6. On the top, a times c is 6. On the bottom, it's just -5. Two things that multiply to 6, but when added gives you -5, -2, and -3. A is equal to 1, so n minus 2, n minus 3. Lastly, a is equal, second to last. B is equal to -6, c is equal to 8. The top is a times c, so that's going to be 8. Bottom, -6. Two things that multiply to 8, but when added gives you -6, -4, and -2. A is equal to 1, so b minus 4, factors, and b minus 2. These are the factors of the quadratic. And lastly, number 4, on the top, a times c, so that's going to be 8, and on the bottom, 6. 4 and 2. 4 times 2 is 8, 4 plus 2 is 6, so a is equal to 1, and plus 4, and plus 2. Really good way, you guys, to factor this, okay?